Good morning, and thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start, I would like to introduce my colleague, Ms. Penda, Rosalia Penda. She is the chairperson of the Namibia Film Commission. I am also a film commissioner with Namibia Film Commission, and she is also the director responsible for audio, visual, copyright, regional services, and so many things. She's actually the right person here. I would like to, before I start with my speech, I have prepared a presentation which is in a speech format, and it's also in a PowerPoint presentation. So I think it will play on as I'm reading my speech through. And then I would like to thank God. As a Christian, I would like to thank God for the opportunity for me to be here, me and my colleague. And I would also like to thank the Institute for inviting me and my colleague to come and share my views here. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to talk with you today about the importance of film as an educational tool and the importance it brings to us on the African continent. Education, as I think you will all agree, is widely understood as the key to Africa's future. It impacts directly on our competitiveness, our sustainability, and our integration into the global economy and into global society as a whole. Our ability to develop both as a nation and as a continent is really clearly dependent on the use of education to expand, both quantitatively and qualitatively. I would like to quote somebody, Alexander Kopang. He was the first Black Vice-Chancellor of a university in Ghana. In his paper, The Challenge of Education in Africa, he outlined conditions necessary for education to be able to support development in Africa. This included education system that starts with the youngest Africans, a more equitable distribution of educational opportunities that reduce existing inequalities based on sex, economic status, and geography, greater efficiency of the education system and the use of resources, and greater external efficiency through an increase in the relevance of schooling to the job market. When I first read this paper, the film industry sprang to my mind as offering potential solution for all these issues. It is an ideal and inspirational tool for young learners. It makes efficient use of resources when appropriately planned and implemented. And it certainly provides a range of skills and experiences that are invaluable for the workplace. But what struck me most, okay. Excuse me for that. Should I just press? Where do I go for it? So where do I go? Here. Okay. But what struck me most about his analysis is geography. The fact that where you are born can hamper quietly, dramatically the kind of education you receive, and thus how you are able to engage with the world at large. Geography is something that we are very conscious about in Namibia. I'm not sure, does everybody here knows where Namibia is? Good. For those of you not familiar with us, Namibia is a very large country, about 825,000 square kilometers, which is about twice the size of Germany. Can you imagine that? And slightly larger than Britain and France combined together. It is as big as California. It is bigger than Texas. But in spite of the size, we have a population of around just 2 million. That is spread across the country. And we can't even claim to be homogeneous. Culturally, Namibia is made up of 11 different ethnic groups, with each distinct culture, tradition, and the variety of languages that all contribute to the core of what we think of as Namibianness. What this geography means, and you'll all hear again and again when talking to Namibian, that is when you can find us now, is that it's incredibly difficult to nurture mass media in a country without masses. And here I'm referring to the sparsely populated areas. However, in recent years, new technology has undeniably changed the landscape. The evolution of media technology and the presence of the internet as a distribution channel have meant that an increasing number of people can now not only receive, but also create and disseminate images, information, and content. As Africans, we are increasingly connected to the internet via computers, laptops, or our cell phones. We are also exposed to the vast array of knowledge and education, irrespective of where we live. It doesn't matter how isolated you are physically, you can in principle connect with the best learning from all over the world. And much of that learning comes in the form of moving image. For Africa, film is just more than an entertainment. It is also a constantly changing lens through which audiences can be exposed to and learn from new or unfamiliar concepts. I've heard it said that one image is absorbed by the human mind in the same way as 1,300 words of text, and certainly when used in education as an instructive tool, where it is deliberately inserted into curriculums to augment the traditional coursework, it can have a profound impact. Even from the early days of the moving image, film was considered to be particularly useful for science education because of its ability to record, expose, and enhance the natural world through documentation and experience. But it can also contribute to arts learning, including literature and language studies, not only as an interpretative tool, but as an artistic model with its own narrative and language that it itself is worth of studying, scrutiny, and reflection. Film in education thus has potential uses for those who teach with films, those who teach about film, and those who teach how to make films. Even the process of filmmaking, the planning, the cooperation, the communication, and resolution of a joint venture is an important skill for today's complex world. Nevertheless, I think there is a further layer. In Namibia, and indeed in a wider African continent, film offers a vital tool for social development and social integration, in particular by offering Namibians the opportunity of crafting and shaping their own images through film and television, and of educating others as to that culture. Namibia's cultural policy slogan is unity in diversity. The core of the policy is that everybody is entitled to their own culture as long as it does not impinge on the rights of other cultures. The aim is to encourage and improve mutual understanding, respect, and tolerance, thus achieving national unity. Much of this effort is aimed at the younger generation. When the country became independent, it was in 1990 that we became independent, cultural policy was given an important role to play, as it was felt that art and culture lay at the head of the creation, development, and democratization of a nation. Thus, this was particularly important because among the many traumatic elements of colonialism and apartheid that was unique, this empowerment of silencing of the oppressed, other people told our stories, interpreted our tradition, gave voice or didn't to our songs. The communication of our cultures and traditions was completely at the whim and mercy of people, frankly, who didn't always have the best interest at hearts, our best interest at their hearts. In terms of African education then, the most powerful and profound potential of film is that it gives us authority over how our own culture is represented and perceived. It is the power to share our own stories in our own voices with our own tribes and communities with our broader Namibian community, with our fellow Africans, and with the citizens of the rest of the world. I just want to mention that the Film Commission recently financed a documentary about the traditions, beliefs of the San community. And it tells their story, and this is what we are saying, that film can help about in telling our own stories of who we are. Continuing in this line of thinking, I believe that the film industry is an essential instrument of expression of our cultural and political values. It is a champion of culture, and it plays a primary role in building a national identity. It is vital for democracy, nation building, and citizenship. My country, which is almost 90% Christian, I'm sorry, I'll have to go back to Christianity, is faced with so many social evils such as drug abuse, teenage pregnancy, and passion killing, to mention only but a few. I strongly believe that we can use the Bible, which is the core of our existence, to teach morals and values through motion picture, thereby addressing some of these social evils. Karl Marx said that religion is the opium of the people, but at its best, the Bible encourages people to think, reflect, and change their hostile attitude to society, their immediate family in which they live. I just want to give an example of the TV series, Seventh Heaven. I'm sure you are aware of it. So in terms of the Namibian communities, especially, I said that most of us are Christians. So we strongly believe that TV series such as this can help promote some of the social evils that we are facing, because these stories like this, they have Bible undertones. And for a community that is Christian, it makes a great impact. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to quote Mark Schorer, the director of the UN Alliance on Civilizations. He says, a truly democratic political system depends on the active participation of its citizens, and active, most importantly, informed citizens. It is the position of the Namibia Film Commission that citizens who are media literate will be better to make informed choices with regard to the audiovisual content market. They will be better informed about what they want to see and better be able to evaluate the implications of their choices. They will also be better able to protect themselves and their loved ones from harmful, offensive, or undesired content. And I believe they will be more demanding of the kinds of content that reflect their own cultures and traditions and beliefs. Thus, media literacy, the access to film and media content, the awareness of how film and media works, the ability to decipher media messages, and the ability to craft media messages oneself using communication and production skills has an outsized role to play in the African educational landscape. The fact that film industry has been identified as a Namibian government priority growth area reflects the global economic shift from the industrial age to the information age. I'm sure we are all aware of this. Economies are now shifting towards information and knowledge management and trade, and it is in the interest of government to encourage development of film literacy skills so that people from all walks of life can contribute both as consumers and contributors to this information-driven world. I'd like to end by taking you back to July 1913. It's amazing to think that it's a full century ago now, when Thomas Cook gave an interview to the New York Dramatic Mirror on the evolution of the motion picture, asked to speculate about the future of educational value of the moving image. He said, "Books will soon be obsolete in public schools. Scholars will be instructed through the eye. It is possible to teach every branch of human knowledge with motion picture. Our school system will be completely changed inside of 10 years. We have been working for some time on the school pictures. It proved conclusively the worth of motion pictures in chemistry, physics, and other branches of society. making scientific truths difficult to understand from textbooks, plain and clear to understand from film. Certainly from an African perspective, I think we can safely say that we are not yet there. Across the continent, we are still working to overcome challenges of poverty, of underdevelopment, and the legacies of colonialism to provide a comprehensive education to all our people. But we are getting there based on the current trends. 59 of 20 to 24-year-olds will have secondary education in 2030, compared to 42 today. This will translate into 137 million 20 to 24-year-olds with secondary education and 12 million with tertiary education in 2030. Things are definitely looking up. And therefore, in closing, I would like to suggest that Edison's prophetic vision is still relevant to the future of Africa. Of African education, as it was 100 years ago. It's only a dream that has been a little delayed, not one definitely postponed. I thank you for your attention. I would like to ask, I don't know whether my colleague has something to add on, or maybe we can go into the question and answer session. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's give her a hand of applause. So, any questions?
Thank you for your presentation. Wonderful. You said something about social evils.
Yes.
Can you explain, please, what you mean with social evils?
As I said to you, we are a Christian nation, and we have challenges such as rape, passion killing. I don't know, you know what passion killing is, and teenage pregnancy. So we regard them as social evils. And we say that we can use the film to educate our people how to address some of these evils. Okay. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Or maybe she wants to say something.
The topic is basically education in film. So basically some of these things we are calling social evil is actually a negative impact on the education system. Take teenage pregnancies, for example. We are having so many young girls getting pregnant and they don't finish their schools. So we label that as a social evil which the society, or Namibian society as a whole, have to deal with. Does it make sense now?
Yeah, because you said it was social evils. I thought it's such a strong word to use, evil. So I thought, where in the Bible does it come something about social evils? Is it a chapter in the Bible that also talks about it? Because the thing about teenagers getting pregnant is also something happening here in the Western and America as well. So is it maybe just that the new generation is changing, and it's more about, it has nothing to do with evils, but about the education that you get at home, that you have to get more out of your parents to teach you about sexual things, and that you know how to protect yourself?
Basically, I think maybe it's a lack of a better word. We call them social evils because it is something which is across the board basically in Namibia specifically. So it's something we are struggling with, especially in rural areas. So maybe we can call them social detriments. I don't know. It's just that we came up with social evils because it's on a very high scale. Yeah, it's not something which came from the Bible. It's just a label we actually put on some of those things, which is really putting our young people backwards.
I also like, I hope that we are not going to discuss the Bible now. Yeah, but then if you look at it, these are practices that are not really being promoted. You know, things like rape, teenage pregnancy. The Bible says you have to be married first before you get married, before you engage into sex. So this is why we look at them as evils. But I think this is probably not the platform to discuss the Bible as such. But then, as my colleague says, that the idea here is education. How do we use film to address some of these challenges that we as a nation are facing? And we feel that it can make a great impact through the film, rather than just through brochures or whatever. The impact can make a bigger impact to address some of these challenges.
Hello, hi. I'm a filmmaker myself, and I'm from Nigeria. Sorry, did I get you right? You said Namibia's got a population of 2 million people?
Yes.
Or 20 million? 2 million?
2 million, 2.2 to be exact.
I think we're moving to Namibia soon. My question is, as a budding industry, your film industry is just getting legs. Yeah. What kind of sustainable, framework are you giving to independent young filmmakers who want to express themselves through films and not necessarily to educational films? What kind of framework are you putting together for them?
Okay, maybe my chairperson can answer and then I can add on.
Basically, the Film Commission have got a strategy. We just got it approved by Cabinet last year. We have a strategy on actually 3 tiers of strategies. We have the first tier, which is for amateurs, people who are coming from school, somebody who's just interested in making films. And it is tied to a funding scheme called very low budget type of films. And then we have a second tier where you get somebody has got a bit of experience, but basically they have the know-how somehow, the basics, but they don't have the equipment. That's another tier. And then we have a third tier where we have people who are really experienced, like for example, doing features, for example. And all these tiers are linked to a funding system. So basically, depending on what type of film, if it is a documentary, it has got its own level of funding that, okay, because in like the third tier, for example, the person can apply and say, okay, I want to do a feature. And then we will say, okay, you want to do a feature, how much do you have? And then the Film Commission will fill in the gaps. So basically, we encourage them to get independent as quickly as possible. That is the funding criteria, basically. And then we have, on the Film Commission side again, we have, we do workshops, we do attachments when foreign film productions comes to the country. We always make it, it's like, it's one of those incentives where we say, okay, if you are bringing this much into the country, what we will do on our side, we will meet you halfway if you actually take up some of our students as attachments, things like that. So, did I answer your question? Yeah. Okay.
You were mentioning, I don't want to belabor the point, but you mentioned these social evils, and you started listing them. And I kind of like was adding to the list, just anticipating that you would mention a few things. Just from a social point of view, is homosexuality on the social evil list?
Homosexuality?
Yes.
Can you just elaborate a bit?
Well, I mean, you know, there's a lot of controversy all over the world about the gay rights and people having the right to determine their own sexual preference. And I'm just wondering, in Namibia, if people feel that homosexuality is one of the social evils. That's what I wanted to. Okay, good.
No.
Good.
The evils we are talking are evils that impact on the person, on your basic rights also. You know, things like rape. And then homosexuality, it's no. I'll just say no.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
no, it's not a social evil.
No,
so.
I'm not maintaining it is. I'm just wondering if that was part, because
no.
some other African countries, and not just in Africa, people are very oppressive to the gay community. I mean, we've had people, representatives from different African governments right here on this stage make some remarkable statements. So I just was wondering. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hi, I'm from Zambia, your neighbor. Okay. Hi, I'm from Zambia.
Just a neighbor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to find out these educational films that you're making, where are you airing them and how often?
Okay, maybe I should give to the chairperson because she is the director responsible for audio visuals. They have a program. But from the Film Commission, before she says, we have last year, I think, we had 7 short films. And before that, we had 10 films, short films. We have a local screening program where we go out, especially into communities called the rural areas, and we do free screenings. So it's like developing the screen culture. So we screen them to the communities free of charge. And then we also take them to festivals.
In terms of educational films, basically we have got a standing agreement with the Ministry of Education. The University of Namibia, the Polytechnic of Namibia, and International University Management. Those are the 3 big educational institutions. So what we do is basically they came up with the type of needs they have, and then the teams looks after, they do the productions, and if they're happy with the end products, then they are aired in schools on kind of like, it's either as a supplement or occasions are arranged where some of these educational base, like for example, we have got 12 national days. So on all those 12 national days, those educational films are associated basically to some of those national days, and then they are shown free of charge. Yeah.
Okay, so if we have no more comments or questions, please join me in expressing our gratitude to Ms. Shivute.
Thank you.